Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your noon news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. And we've got breaking news out of ECU where football quarterback Katin Houser is opting out of the Military Bowl and is entering the transfer portal. After 2 seasons in Greenville, Houser has 1 year of eligibility left at wherever he chooses to play next. This season, he has led the Pirates with 28 total touchdowns on just 6 interceptions, while throwing for 3,000 yards in the team's first 8-win regular season in over a decade. Last year, he was a big part of ECU's second half of the year resurgence, where he capped it off by winning the Military Bowl over NC State 26-21. Now, his departure comes after the team lost both coordinators. Offensive coordinator John David Baker returning to Ole Miss, and defensive coordinator Josh Aldridge left for South Florida. Now, in other news, we are following the death of Rob Reiner, where his son Nick Reiner was placed in police custody today after the death of the director, actor, and his wife Michelle. Now, online jail records show that Nick Reiner, who's 32 years old, was booked by Los Angeles police and remained in jail today. It was not immediately clear on what charges he would face. The online records show a $4 million bail had been set. We now want to turn to NBC's Conan Nolan, who has a look back on the life of Rob Reiner.
You have to be kidding!
America first came to know him as the hippie son-in-law of the blue-collar bigot Archie Bunker, played by Carol O'Connor in the 70s TV comedy All in the Family. It ran for 9 seasons.
Boss, he's not my son, Gloria. I mean,
get your hands off my daughter, you balloon!
While there were other acting roles, it was behind the camera that Rob Reiner had his cinematic impact, inventing the modern romantic comedy with Harry Met Sally with Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal. The often quoted The Princess Bride, which has been newly rediscovered by younger audiences, and the military courtroom classic A Few Good Men, where Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson faced off over a murder at the U.S. military base in Guantanamo, Cuba. He once told talk show host Howard Stern that he learned filmmaking from his father, Carl Reiner, himself an actor and screenwriter who had often worked with Steve Martin.
Now, I can tell you that it wasn't until, and this is now, I'm in my mid to late 30s, it wasn't until I did Stand By Me that I started feeling myself. And I thought, okay, I'm carved. I mean, a long, long time it took me to start to carve out my own
identity.
World. Yes.
Reiner was also active in politics. He routinely helped raise money for the Democratic Party. In 1998, he single-handedly championed Proposition 10, a 50-cent per pack tax on cigarettes to finance child education and health programs. He was also a fierce critic of President Trump. This was Reiner on the Jimmy Fallon Show during the president's first term in office.
Unless the public is informed, we don't have a chance to hold this democracy together. So we're fighting, and, you know, hopefully we will, because we love this country and we don't want to see it devolve.
Recently releasing Spinal Tap 2, a sequel 4 decades following his first movie, a satirical send-up of the then popular rock documentary. Rob Reiner was a virtuoso whose intent was to make his audiences laugh, understand life, and to take a stand. To many, he was the best of Hollywood.
And again, that was Conan Nolan reporting. We now turn to your weather forecast, looking at sunny skies across the east right now, but it is still a very cold day and will remain a very cold day today. Air temperatures only going to spend a few hours above freezing today. We're starting to get to that point, or at least approach that point. Not quite there in New Bern just yet. 28 degrees currently with a northerly breeze at 8 miles an hour, making it feel more like 20 degrees along the Neuse River. It's not just your air temperatures that are down. Our moisture content in the air is also very, very low. 6-degree dew point. If you're feeling a little bit more static electricity today, that is a big reason why. The drier the air is, easier it is for electrons to kind of jump from one object to another, making static electricity a little bit more of an issue. Anyways, Grifton right now, 30 degrees, a little bit closer to, again, that 32-degree reading we're looking for. Feels like 22, though, when you factor in that northerly breeze at 9 miles an hour. Here's a look at temperatures across the board. More of the 30s are starting to show up. We've got 30-degree readings in Greenville, Kinston, Jacksonville, as well as Kenansville. 31 right now in Hatteras, as well as Beaufort. Also, again, Washington and Edenton also at 30 degrees. 32 is the hot spot on the map right now, which just feels weird to say. Stumpy Point right now enjoying a nice balmy 32 degrees. Northerly winds coming in at about 7 to 15 miles an hour. Will gradually relax later on tonight, but we'll maintain that northerly wind flow as we head into tomorrow, even though tomorrow's wind flow again is going to be a little bit more subdued than what we have seen so far today, because the high pressure system that's causing that northerly wind flow is going to get closer, and as it does so, again, winds calm down. Low pressure systems tend to get winds going. High pressure systems tend to cool them off a bit, and once we get that area of high pressure onto, well, really off to our east, that's when we're looking at more of a southerly wind, and that will bring up air temperature significantly as we make our way into the second half of the week. Of course, that area of low pressure near Houston will also do us some favors. Here's a look at the slight warm-up that we're going to be tracking later on this week. Again, really coming in Thursday into Friday. We'll be dodging again that big blast of frigid air that's going to be staying well north of eastern North Carolina. But we will again see air temperatures take a little bit of a drop there from Thursday into Friday and from Friday into Saturday. But we'll be back in the upper 50, well, no, upper 50 Saturday, but mid to upper 60s by Sunday. And that is something we haven't been able to say for the entire month of December, that's for sure. Back before Thanksgiving is the last time we've been able to say that we've had above average air temperatures. We'll see it Thursday. We'll see it again on Sunday. Hopefully it gives everybody something to look forward to in this frigid air that is over the east today and tonight. Well, that's all we have time for today's noon news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Monday.